you will talk to and I'm will play in your face over and over and over and over and over again, and she'll be like, watch what I'm about to do, watch what I'm about to say. And it's sad that a nigga like to, really like to play games with me when I'm at my most vulnerable time, when I'm not the most confident. He like to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl. And I've really been sparing you. You've been feeling yourself, nigga, because of your album and and you really been doing me dirty after some years that I'm off your not even a thank you that I got for your and it's so crazy that I gotta go fucking internet because whenever I tell you something, you don't take it seriously. And I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of this.
Yeah, y'all, this one feels different. And I mean different. Because this wasn't just another headline about cheating. This wasn't just another Offset got caught slipping moment. We've seen those before. We've watched Cardi defend him before. We've watched her cry, laugh, forgive, clap back, and double down before. So when she finally hit that breaking point, people knew something bigger had to be going on behind the scenes. For years, Cardi stood 10 toes down behind her man, through public embarrassment, through messy internet leaks, through women going live, through screenshots, through blogs dragging her. She didn't budge. And not because she didn't have options, she made it very clear she did. She said it herself. She's rich. She's talented. She could have whoever she wanted. But she chose to fight for her marriage. And that's what makes this whole situation feel heavier. Because cheating alone never made her walk away. Let's really think about that. Offset's cheating scandals didn't start after marriage. They started before. And she still married him. After marriage? More scandals. And she still defended him. She even took some of the blame publicly, basically saying, I'm not perfect either. That's not someone halfway in. That's someone committed. That's someone determined to make it work no matter what the internet thinks. So when she went live recently and absolutely snapped, when she was shaking, yelling, saying she'd been sparing him, that wasn't just about another rumor. That felt personal. That felt like someone who had hit emotional rock bottom. And now people are looking at the timeline differently. Because sometimes it's not the cheating that breaks you. It's what the cheating does to your trust, your confidence, your sense of safety. For a long time, fans noticed tension in the background. Subtle distance, less sisterly appearances, less public bonding. And at first, nobody really paid attention. Families go through things. Sisters argue. Life happens. But when rumors start swirling about boundaries being crossed within the inner circle, that's when it hits different. Again, nothing has been confirmed, but the whispers alone were enough to make people understand why Cardi's reaction felt so explosive. Because if the betrayal ever creeped too close to home, that's not something you can just brush off with another public apology or grand gesture. And speaking of grand gestures, Offset has always had a pattern. When he gets caught, he goes big, huge proposals, public apologies, stage crashes, massive romantic displays in front of thousands of people. It looks cinematic. It looks dramatic. It looks like love fighting for survival. But some people started asking, is it love? Or is it damage control? There were insiders before who claimed family members weren't buying the performances anymore. That they felt like the cycle was getting exhausting. That the pattern kept repeating. Cheat. Get exposed. Apologize publicly. Grand gesture. Reconcile. Repeat. And when you're the one constantly defending that cycle, eventually it drains you. Cardi has always been loud, bold, and unapologetic. But in relationships, she showed a different side. Loyal, protective, ride or die to a fault. And that's why this breakup feels final in a way the others didn't. Because this time she didn't just seem hurt. She seemed done. There's a difference. Hurt cries. Done walks away. And the way she spoke, the frustration, the I've been sparing you energy, that's not someone looking for another apology bouquet. That's someone who feels disrespected on a deeper level. Now let's talk about the emotional math. When someone cheats and you forgive them, you're making a choice. A conscious one. You're saying, I can live with this flaw. I can rebuild trust. But when something shifts your entire perception of the person, that's harder to fix. It's like the blindfold comes off. Suddenly you're not just seeing mistakes, you're seeing patterns. You're not just seeing love, you're seeing manipulation. You're not just seeing romance, you're seeing strategy. And when that realization hits, it's cold, fans also started connecting dots about the pressure Cardi has been under. Career highs, public scrutiny, motherhood, business ventures, constant headlines. And through all that, having to defend your marriage over and over again, that's exhausting. At some point, even the strongest loyalty has a limit. And maybe, just maybe, she finally reached hers. What makes this even more complicated is the family dynamic. When relationship drama spills into family territory, things don't just go back to normal. Even rumors can create awkwardness. Even whispers can create distance. Trust is fragile. And once it's shaken on multiple fronts, it's hard to rebuild. That's why this doesn't feel like a regular celebrity breakup. It feels like layers, emotional layers, years of buildup, years of defending someone publicly, years of choosing love over pride, and then one moment where everything snaps. And here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Sometimes the last straw isn't the biggest scandal. It's the one that finally makes you feel foolish. Not embarrassed, not angry, foolish. Like you were protecting someone who wasn't protecting you. That's the energy people felt watching her live. There was no maybe we'll work it out vibe. There was no soft tone. There was fire. And once fire like that burns through trust, it doesn't cool down easily. Now she's moving differently, dating differently, speaking differently, not defending, not explaining, not over-clarifying. That's growth. Or maybe it's just emotional survival. Offset can apologize. He can stay quiet. He can post cryptic messages. But sometimes apologies don't matter once the perception shifts. Because once you see someone differently, you can't unsee it. And that might be the real story here. Not just cheating, not just rumors, but the moment Cardi B realized she deserved peace more than she deserved the fight. And when a woman who fought that hard finally stops fighting, that's when you know the chapter is closed. Now the only question left is, will this stay quiet? Or is there more to surface? Because in situations like this, the public usually only sees about 20% of the real story. And if this was the 20%, phew, something tells me we haven't heard the last of it.
And I'm will play in your face, over and over and over and over and over again, and she'll be like, watch what I'm about to do, watch what I'm about to say. And it's sad that another like to, really like to play games with me when I'm at my most vulnerable time, when I'm not the most confident. He likes to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl. And I've really been sparing you. I've really been sparing you. You've been feeling yourself, nigga, because of your album and and you really been doing me dirty after some years that I'm up your not even a thank you that I got for your and it's so crazy that I gotta go fucking internet because whenever I tell you something, you don't take it seriously. And I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of it.
At the time, everybody knew one thing for sure. Whatever made Cardi snap like that had to be nuclear. Because that wasn't regular anger. That wasn't we fighting again energy. That was somebody who felt blindsided. Somebody who felt humiliated. Somebody who felt like something crossed a line that you just don't uncross. When she went live and let it all spill out, the internet tried to reduce it to just another cheating cycle. But people who have been watching this relationship for years could tell. This hit different. Cheating? That was old news. Public embarrassment? Been there. Internet drama? Survived it. So what makes someone who forgave all that finally say, I'm done? It's when the betrayal stops being about romance and starts feeling personal. And that's where the rumors started getting darker. Again, nothing confirmed. Nothing proven. But the whispers were enough to shake the foundation. Because when alleged boundaries start blurring inside the inner circle, it's not just relationship drama anymore. It's family. It's loyalty. It's trust at the deepest level. And even the idea of that's enough to fracture everything. Fans began looking back at subtle signs. The distance. The less frequent sister moments. The shift in energy during public appearances. Nobody said anything outright, but sometimes silence says more than statements ever could. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Even if something isn't technically someone's fault, the emotional damage can still be real. When something that close to home gets tangled in relationship chaos, awkwardness becomes unavoidable. Conversations change. Eye contact changes. Energy changes. You can love someone and still not know how to move around them the same way anymore. That's not hatred. That's hurt. And if Cardi felt like something blurred the lines between relationship drama and family space, Of course she would feel a type of way. Anyone would. Now add that on top of years of repeated cheating scandals. Years of defending someone publicly. Years of saying, "This is my life. I'll handle it my way." Eventually, even the strongest loyalty gets tired. And let's talk about the family pressure. Because when you're in love, you can ignore the internet. You can ignore strangers in comment sections. But when the people who raised you, who protect you, who see you cry in private start saying, "Enough is enough," that hits differently. There were whispers back in 2024 that people close to her were worried. Not just about embarrassment, not just about headlines, but about her stress, her health, the emotional toll. Because here's what the public doesn't always see. Constantly defending a partner who keeps putting you in messy situations is draining. It chips at your confidence. It forces you into explanation mode over and over again. And Cardi, for a long time, chose love over pride. But at some point, the math stopped adding up. It wasn't just, he cheated. It became, why am I still fighting for someone who keeps putting me here? That's a hard realization. And when you zoom out and look at the full timeline, it makes more sense. The grand gestures, the public apologies, the big stage moments, they were dramatic, romantic even. But dramatic love isn't the same as stable love. Every time there was a scandal, there was a spectacle afterward. Flowers, tears, public begging, promises. But promises lose power when the pattern keeps repeating. And people started noticing something else. Cardi stopped sounding defensive. She stopped over-explaining. She stopped trying to convince the world she was okay with everything. That's usually the first sign someone is mentally checking out. Because when you're still invested, you argue. You defend. You clarify. When you're done, you go quiet. And when she did explode publicly, it didn't sound like someone negotiating. It sounded like someone who had already processed the betrayal privately and reached her final conclusion. There's a difference between reacting and releasing. That live session felt like release. Release of years of swallowed pride. Release of years of embarrassment. Release of defending someone who maybe wasn't protecting her the same way. And the family dynamic? That's the quiet casualty in all this. Even when relationships end, families can sometimes remain neutral. But when the drama bleeds into personal spaces, Thanksgiving tables feel different. Group chats feel tense. Loyalty lines get drawn. And nobody talks about how complicated that is. Because even if everybody loves each other, once trust cracks, things don't go back to normal. They adjust. They shift. They become careful. Now fast forward to where she is today. New energy. New relationship. New vibe. People are already comparing the new man to the old one. Saying it's the same cycle, just a different face. Saying history might repeat itself. But here's the thing. When someone finally leaves after years of staying, it's rarely impulsive. It's usually the result of something snapping internally. She didn't wake up randomly and decide, I'm done. Something shifted how she saw him. And once perception shifts, love doesn't feel the same. You can't go back to unknowing something. You can't go back to unfeeling something. And even if apologies come later, even if explanations are offered, once your spirit disconnects, it's hard to plug that back in. That's what this breakup feels like. Not drama for clicks. Not temporary separation. But someone who hit emotional exhaustion. And exhaustion is powerful. Because when you're tired enough, you stop caring about public opinion. You stop caring about looking strong. You stop caring about the fairy tale image. You choose peace. Now, does that mean there won't be more fallout? Probably not. When relationships that public end, there are always layers we don't see. Legal matters, co-parenting adjustments, business ties, emotional cleanup, and when family tension is rumored to be involved, that healing process takes even longer. But what's clear is this: Offset can apologize. He can defend himself. He can stay silent. It doesn't change the fact that something in Cardi finally broke. And when someone who tolerated years of chaos finally draws a line, that line isn't random. It's deliberate. This wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was the end of a cycle. The end of defending someone at the expense of your own peace. The end of romanticizing struggle. And maybe, just maybe, the beginning of her choosing herself without explanation. Because for the first time in years, she doesn't seem like she's fighting for the relationship. She seems like she's protecting her sanity. And that's a different kind of power. Now the real question isn't whether more secrets will surface. It's whether this chapter is truly closed, or if history has one more twist waiting. But one thing's for sure. Whatever happened behind the scenes, it changed everything. And once everything changes, there's no going back to the old version of love. Only forward, scars and all.